in my bag swag.
Quick shout out to Hunter Animations. He's a fan of Metal Duckles that they drew, and I'm loving how confused Metal Duckles looks in this one. He looks absolutely precious, you know, and it's just such a cool facial expression, and I'm really digging it. So thank you, Hunter. I really appreciate it. Anyway, hello there beautiful humans. My name is RidersDX and welcome to my channel where today, this is going to be a little bit different because there's actual people in here. It's not a one-man show today, so that's pretty strange, but I'm going to let the two guys over here introduce themselves. We'll start with you, Dave.
Hello, I'm Dave.
Oh my gosh.
DaveAce.
That actually scared me a little.
I even scare you, not at the convention.
And then, well, Dylan, I don't know if you can top that, but...
I don't need to. Hi, I'm Dylan. I go by Garrulous64, and I'm gonna do an ASMR bit for this.
Oh, please don't do.
If that's okay with you.
Please. This is a family-friendly channel. We don't do...
This is family
ASMR is not inherently
Well, actually,
dirty.
no.
It could be.
It's not completely family-friendly because I still want to make money, but...
Thanks, YouTube.
Love it.
Be family friendly, but not family friendly too much.
But anyway, the reason that I have DaveAce and Garrulous over here is because we all met up at PAX East, and we had a really great time over there. We played a bunch of games and met a bunch of people. But one of the main things that we did over there was try out Battle for Bikini Rehydrated. And so I definitely wanted to sit down and do like a video just talking about our overall impressions of what we saw and anything we'd like to discuss. And so that's what this is. And I have no idea where this discussion is going to go. I have some general talking points and such that we'll go over, but just a quick little note over here. So Dave and I got to play like the Gamescom build, you know, the one that's open to the public. While Garrulous, lucky guy over here, got to play the press build, which is the one that like 5 people asked me to steal during the convention, and I was like, I wasn't going to do that, so I got the next best thing.
People gotta chill with stealing. That's not right.
No.
And so we'll talk plenty about it because we all got to like at least see it, but Garrulous did get to play it too, so he's got that unique perspective. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about was just the overall impressions of what we played. And so we'll start with Dave because we can start the Gamescom build and then we can jump into the press build. But Dave, how did you feel about the demo overall?
Well, coming back to this is a game that I hadn't played for a good couple of years, and I mean I love SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, probably one of my favorite SpongeBob games out there. When I first played it, I will say that the demo, I guess I just wasn't very familiar with how fast SpongeBob moved in the game. So to me, SpongeBob felt a little sluggish. He felt like really slow compared to what I remember playing when I first played Battle for Bikini Bottom a couple of times. Other than that, I'd say that everything else, going back and playing Battle for Bikini Bottom afterwards, feels pretty much the same. It was definitely a good build that they had running. I just really love the visuals and everything for it. Still a little bit upset that they're not doing anything different for the music. The recording of the game is understandable, but I was really hoping to hear some kind of like remixed Jellyfish Fields in the background. But overall, I feel like it was a really solid demo.
And yeah, and I have similar things to say because I got to play the Gamescom demo. I actually went 3 times and the girl actually recognized me the 3rd time. And so she was like, oh, a repeat customer. I love repeat customers. I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of person I'm gonna be here. But first time I played, for some reason, I felt like the camera was really sensitive and I wasn't used to it for some reason. But then I realized afterwards I hadn't actually played like the original game for a few months. And so that's probably why. But by the 3rd time I played it, it felt exactly the same. You know, there really didn't feel like there was a big difference there. I know there's a few specific things that people were talking about, like jump stalling, that wasn't really there yet, but it honestly didn't make a huge difference. You can still platform with SpongeBob pretty well throughout Jellyfish Fields, and so I thought it felt fine for the most part. And if anything, the press build probably is going to improve upon like some of those things also. Now, Garrulous, unlike me and Dave, you hadn't played this game beforehand, and so how did you feel about the game when you were playing it?
I played very little of it. I hadn't like never ever played it, but like I definitely own it. Like my family has it, and I've definitely tried it before. But it's like from what I played of the original and what I played of this, to me they seem very very similar. I don't know, like I don't remember if either of you just said that he feels a little slower.
That was me.
Or maybe it's just me, like, or us. I really don't know. I'm not a good authority on this. That was one thing I noticed, and like I wish he went a little bit faster. Other than that, it was a newer build. There were more little bits to explore, like the house and a bit of the hub world. And yeah, like Dave said, I think they're not re-recording any lines, so we still have really bad imitation crabs. It's not even a joke, really, because it's just a really bad portrayal of
very generic
Clancy's voice. Not really sure why they went with that in the first place, but I'm assuming money. But I love the colors. I love how it looks. It's just really the walking speed, honestly, because I was having a great time. The platforming felt maybe a little better to me. Like, I had more control. Because the original felt a little bit stiff sometimes to me. Again, I didn't play I probably went through Jellyfish Fields, and I have no memory of anything after that. So, yeah. No, I mean, I think it's definitely shaping up. I did play the demo that was on the floor as well.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't really feel any differences.
Interesting.
But, you know, obviously the one I played for the press thing is a lot more current of a demo. And it was, I think, nicer. I think there were some more touches here and there, visual stuff mostly, but yeah, it was neat.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize you owned the game, actually, and so I know you said you played a little bit of it beforehand, but I kind of, things just like slip my mind regularly, so that's great.
Maybe I'll boot it up and I'll actually try to compare it, who knows, I mean...
Yeah,
I'll let you know.
Definitely. And I guess since we're talking so much about the music and the voice acting, we'll kind of just jump into that because that's definitely a very hot topic. And so just to make it clear, you know, not only did we hear this, but Beta64 also heard this as well when he played the game, but they're not planning to change the voice acting. And that is a Nickelodeon decision, apparently. And so I know a lot of people like are still asking me if Clancy Brown is going to be playing this Mr. Krabs in this game, and just from what it looks like, it does not seem like it's the case. And like in the press build, it was still like the old voice clips as well, and so it doesn't look like they're changing it. I think they might be adding some new ones for like the new levels and the Horde mode in particular, but they're not going to go in and like change everything in the... I lost my train of thought. They're not going to go in and change like the original voice acting. And so what are y'all thoughts about that?
I kind of expected that. I'm not sure why. I expected them to reuse the dialogue, but not the music. The music I thought was going to get at least touched up or something. But the dialogue being reused, I guess it's because a lot of these guys are probably pretty expensive to book.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
And depending on where the money comes from, I don't know if THQ goes to Nickelodeon and they say, okay, you can have this much money to make the game, or if it's mostly on THQ's part. Because if it's Nickelodeon giving them budget, I assume it'd be easier to get the voice actors, but if it's THQ's budget, then maybe that's the problem. And I mean, it's always also possible that Nickelodeon was like, whenever I talk about video games and there's a company and it starts with N, it's usually Nintendo, so that's why that was a slip up. But anyway, but it is also possible that Nickelodeon was like, no, just make the game and use everything that you can to remake it because we don't want to spend much money on it. So I think it comes from a money standpoint, which is not always the best thing. But, I mean, gameplay does matter more than all of that stuff, and so far it's good.
What I will say is, while you did mention, you know, we've heard various sources say that this was a Nickelodeon thing, that they didn't want to provide the budget for extra voice acting work or, you know, music work. It's just, it feels weird that Nickelodeon would make such a strong move, because we're getting a complete redub of the German version for this game.
That's true, actually.
So it doesn't really add up why they would redub one version of the game only and cut back on everything else. So it might be that THQ could have a budget problem when it comes to that. Maybe
they did just get bought out, right? So
yeah, they got bought out by Nordic and then they merged. I guess I guess it relies on the talent. It just doesn't really, it doesn't make sense in my mind why they would just redub one version and leave all the other ones, you know, untouched. Budget-wise for those would be definitely more expensive, which is why I was kind of surprised to hear that they didn't want to remake the music.
That's true, actually.
Given they already have the source material, I thought, well, hey, it'd probably be easy to just, you know, remix it, because that's what they did with the Crash and Spyro soundtracks.
You know, I thought the music was an interesting decision too. The voice acting doesn't surprise me too much, and I know that's gonna upset a lot of people, but it honestly doesn't, because one thing is I honestly was not expecting them to re-voice like all the lines, because it's still the same voice actors and such, and it still sounds pretty good, and so I wasn't really expecting them to re-voice everything. I was kind of thinking there was a chance they'd re-voice Mr. Krabs, but the fact that they're not going to definitely tells me that this is a much more budget remake than what we were probably used to with the Crash and Spyro ones. And it's...
I don't mean to intrude on that front, but Destroy All Humans, another remake they're doing right now, is doing the exact same thing. They're not re-recording the dialogue either.
Oh.
So and they're not redoing the music either, are they?
I don't think anyone cares about the music of that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's all the same audio.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that actually. But yeah, if you think about it, like THQ Nordic is not a big company. Actually,
not as big as THQ used to be now.
Yeah.
Just save money where you can, I guess.
Y'all remember that like THQ actually went bankrupt in the past, and so
that's why Nordic bought them out.
They definitely are not like a big company compared to the ones that we're typically used to, so that's probably a big reason for it. I do still think it's disappointing though, because I mean, I didn't have a big problem with the Mr. Krabs that we got in Battle for Bikini Bottom. Actually, when I was a kid, I thought it was the original Mr. Krabs.
Dude, that sounds like me trying to do Mr. Krabs. Like, it doesn't sound right.
I mean,
like, ahoy! Like that's what he sounds like.
You know, I think what tipped me off though was like there was this one line in Rock Bottom when you're about to like go on the slide, and then Mr. Krabs is like, "There's gold at the bottom, gold I say," you know, something like that, and I was just like, no, that does not sound like Mr.
Sounds
Krabs.
like a leprechaun.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's not Mr. Krabs. But I actually, as a kid, I didn't really notice until like I got to that part where I was like, okay, nope, this is not Mr. Krabs. But I don't really mind it.
What have you done with him?
But I don't know. I don't think it's a deal breaker for the game. You know, for some reason, it looks like a lot of people do care about that, and I do get it. You know, because you have pretty much everyone else there in the original cast, like voicing their roles, but it's just really odd to not have Mr. Krabs over there. But yeah, I definitely don't think it's a game breaker.
Yeah, no, especially like for someone like me who hasn't really played the game, I want to experience it. I want to play. I love 3D platformers, and this is one that people always talk about. So I mean, even though that's weird, I know Krabs, Barnacle Boy, and Mermaid Man. Actually, no, I think Barnacle Boy does have his regular voice.
Yes, he does.
And since they're reusing it, obviously, there's no problem since the voice actor did unfortunately pass away. I think, right?
Yeah, he did.
I believe he did.
Yeah.
So there's no problem with that. But Mermaid Man is different, I believe.
Yes, he is.
Not that we can do anything with that as well, because he also passed away years ago. But like, I just want to experience it. It doesn't really matter what it sounds like too much to me, because I haven't played it.
Yeah, honestly, don't let them not redoing the music and redoing the cast lead you away from playing the game, because this for a platforming game like this that is being remade from scratch and going out to all consoles and PC with many different features, including scrap stuff, for $30, that's a steal. That's an absolute steal. Why would you not want to buy this game?
Oh, absolutely. And so, yes, it is a disappointing thing, but definitely not a game breaker. And I do have some nostalgia for like the old voice acting too. I mean, this game, I don't know if y'all could tell, but like my like really obnoxious face like when the demo was playing. But this game means a lot.
I didn't keep that part in the video, unfortunately.
No.
I wish I wanted to, but
I mean, you're free to use that whenever. But
Riders was glowing up at literally everything, and it was great.
it was funny.
I know, it's just like, that was just me, like, whenever something new about this game gets reviewed, because honestly, it's still such a dream to see this game like actually get revisited like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was just supposed to be another like licensed trash game that would be forgotten. You know, that's what it was supposed to be, but it wasn't. It blew everyone's socks off, and well, literally in Patrick's case, and it just
they're everywhere.
Yeah. And it's just,
man's gotta take better care of his socks.
Yeah, he really does, actually. But yeah, it's just such a dream, and so just the fact that this game is happening just makes me really happy. But it definitely is not going to be a perfect game, you know, just from what we've seen so far. But I still think it'll be a pretty good functioning game.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that. I mean, the demo I played, the press demo, it was definitely farther along in production, but it's supposed to come out in when? May?
The leak release date says it was May. I don't think there's any confirmation when it's coming, but honestly, from watching you play the press demo,
didn't look quite finished enough.
It didn't. The cutscenes didn't look very finished. Watching Dylan play the press demo, majority of the game, level-wise, looked complete.
Yes.
And there was a start screen where you could go and select each level. There were no boundaries, it looked like. You could just go to the start screen and select which level you wanted to play.
Interesting.
It didn't look like anything was blocked off.
Yeah, so it's a debug thing.
It could have been a debug thing.
Well, I mean, they don't necessarily have to bar it off for it to not be, functioning. Like, it could just be a thing set up for later.
Yeah, but, I mean, just basing it off of that experience alone, I could see that maybe with this recent build, even though the cutscenes aren't finished, I would want to hedge my bets that late August of this year would be the release.
So this is very interesting because when I talked to the PR guy, when I first saw the horde build footage and such, he brought up to me, and I did not instigate this at all, but he brought up to me that there was a certain leak that happened that was not far off from the truth. And then I saw Beta64 tweet out that the game was supposedly going to be released at the end of May, because he got the same thing from him, which was the leak was not that far off, and he got further confirmation that he was talking about the release date. And so the game was targeted to come out at the end of May, and judging from the press build that we saw, it still looked like there was some work that needed to be done. But actually, I read some comments in my YouTube videos about this because I did bring this up in my previous video about this game, and they told me that typically they're not going to bring the most recent builds like these things. It's going to be a couple months or a few months out, and I just didn't really think about that when I was talking about that, but it does make sense. They're probably farther along with the game than it looked like from the press build, and even then the press build still looked like it was doing really good for the most part. There was just some touch-ups they still need to do here and there, but overall it looks like it's shaping up to be a finished product at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you guys remember if cutscenes were skippable in the demo?
They are. Well, no, not the demo. I thought you meant the game as a whole.
Did I not skip a cutscene? Because I don't remember.
Not. Oh, wait, I think you accidentally did.
Okay, because I just turned on the original, and I skipped cutscenes, and I'm hoping that was the thing that they kept.
I think you.
That's a thing because speedrunning. I've been practicing speedrunning Battlefield.
I'm playing
Bikini
the game
Bottom,
right
so.
now. He feels a lot faster.
Yeah, no. Okay, so that was not in my mind. He definitely is slower.
Just seconds of this, he feels a lot faster right now.
So we'll have to see how that turns out when the game comes out. I definitely will want to play them back to back too and see if there's any key differences in terms of how it feels. I mean, from what I played, it really didn't feel that different, but maybe you're all onto something. So tune in to find out.
I might be wrong, but
I don't know. For me, the original, and I mean, again, I've already stated that I've been trying to speedrun this game. Going back and playing through it, just trying to think of how it felt when I was playing the demo, I have a completely different kind of idea. Maybe it's because the graphics are updated and he looks like he moves slower?
It could be, but I don't know. In this, it feels... I feel like I might just be wrong, honestly, because it's been a week or something since I played that, and I might be imagining. But
I don't know, since you both said it, it might be something, but yeah, I guess you all will have to just wait and find out when the game comes out. And so
definitely pick that up day one.
Yes.
I really want to play.
It is a day one pickup, and
it so is.
Highly recommend it because there's just so many features. There's gonna be local co-op, offline co-op, online co-op.
No.
Yeah, I think for the main story.
No, it's not for the main story. It's just for that horde mode. I'm pretty sure it's just for the horde mode. Just from what I've seen. But don't
that's the
quote me on
case,
that.
then I don't know. It's a little. I don't know. I'm getting a little too excited if that's the case.
No, I'm pretty sure the multiplayer is just for the horde mode. You know, just from what I've seen. But I might just be remembering things incorrectly.
We'll just have to wait and see, because there's a lot of stuff that they listed this game will have.
Yeah, I think the co-op is referring to working together in the horde mode, but that's just...
It could be, yeah.
That's just what I think.
I feel like co-op might break the main story really hard, but on PC, I mean, I'm sure people will do it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, I can't wait to see how...
That's the great thing about it coming to PC. Mods.
Oh, I cannot wait. I want them to mod like Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton into the game. That's gonna be really insane to see. But, okay, there's one thing that I really do want to touch on before we conclude this very intelligent discussion. But... and that is the look of the game. And so the game looks really like it's very in your face in terms of its design. You know, the colors are really vibrant. It looks like a next generation SpongeBob game basically, and in my personal opinion it looks gorgeous. Like, I think it looks amazing. But I've seen a lot of comments within my YouTube videos talking about how people are actually not a fan of how colorful this game is, and the reason that people aren't is because the original game had a more like dull color scheme, and they feel like this game is kind of going against that in terms of the look. But what are y'all opinions on that?
I think that this remake looks like, and also judging, I'm playing it right now literally, so I think it looks gorgeous, the new version, and I feel like it looks like a cartoon game should. I feel like making it look as amazing as possible is in their best interest, because they're updating it for a whole new generation, so make it really appealing, make it really eye-catching. I am looking at this, it is very, like, the colors are very muted in the original version, so I like the idea of updating it.
I am not against them upgrading the graphics and pushing for the intensity that they're trying to go for, and I feel like I remember talking to you about this like a while back when concept art came out for the game, and I was just like, dude, this looks stunning.
Oh my
this
gosh.
looks exactly how I imagined it would look if this game ever got a remake. And just from playing the game and going back and comparing it to the concept art that we saw in the demo, you could go and fight King Jellyfish. So comparing it back to that, it looked straight like as if they took the concept art and made it playable. And I don't know, I don't have a problem with it. It looks beautiful and definitely makes me want to buy the game even more, because I'm interested to see how they're gonna change lighting for different areas, because in my opinion Goo Lagoon originally looks kind of really dull, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they'll bring it to life in the final, product of this remake.
I just thought about this today actually before like this call, which was the fact that I think this debate is actually a similar debate that people have with like SpongeBob in general, because the original seasons, the golden age of SpongeBob, the colors in those seasons were very dull as well, and the newer episodes nowadays have that more saturated like color scheme. And the new movie Sponge Out of Water, Sponge on the Run, that's the name of it.
Sponge on the Run.
One Sponge on the Run.
Yeah, Sponge on the Run. Like, that movie looks a little bit more saturated too in terms of the color scheme. And I think they did that on purpose with this game, because I think Nickelodeon wanted the theme of this game to match what SpongeBob was doing in like its other media avenues. And so I think that's one reason why they're making it very saturated like the way that it is. And I think it is a debate that people are having in general about SpongeBob. And I grew up with SpongeBob, like, obviously, and those original seasons will go down history as like being some of the best pieces of television that I'll probably ever see. And I'm not exaggerating in any shape or form. And
I believe you.
And
I can go and rewatch the first 3 seasons and still be able to rewatch them like the next day, because they're so good.
Exactly. It's such a good like group of episodes, and everyone like quotes it. There's still like millions of memes being made.
If it weren't for those first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, meme culture would be completely different today.
I know. People don't realize this, but like SpongeBob is so impactful. Like, it literally has an impact on everything. And yeah, meme culture is definitely one of the biggest things that it's impacted, because there's a million SpongeBob memes being like created like all the time. It's crazy actually. And so there's a lot of nostalgia that's held with like those first 3 seasons, and because this game came out around the same time as those seasons came out, you know, that nostalgia is associated with the game as well. And so I think that that's where it's coming from. I think people like just have such fond memories of the original that they don't really want to see it change in that way. But I honestly think that for a remake, this is completely necessary, honestly, because if you tried to go way too similar to like the original game and such, then you will get criticism for like not like enhancing the graphics enough as well. And this is gonna sound like a bit of a douchey thing to say, but the original game is always there if you want the original color scheme. But I think it's really cool to see Purple Lamp Studios kind of like make their mark on the game and interpret it in their own way. And so I'm really interested in seeing how they're redesigning these levels and making the color schemes a little bit different, because it definitely is a little bit different from before, and it'll make the game feel brand new again, even though it is still an old game. But that's just my basic thoughts on it.
I agree. And one thing too, new people to the game who tried the old game, like me, I kind of wasn't super into it when I was playing it. It felt really dated. I know that when the game, was it the Game Grumps that played it, and Aaron was like, I hate this, I hate everything.
It was Game Grumps, and I was really upset because I was really hoping that was one of the games that I was hoping that they play through and finish.
Because like that whole thing, I understand, because it feels pretty dated. It's like going back and playing Sonic Adventure now. Like, sure, people who love it still, but I recognize that it's definitely a very dated game, and I think everyone who were to play it these days without any prior knowledge of it would probably think the same way. So I think an update like this will help a lot with people who are trying to get into it, so that way they can see what people liked, except, on a more modern take on it.
Actually, now that you say that, that's exactly how I felt about the original Crash and Spyro games, because I tried going back to like the original Crash Team Racing, and I couldn't get into it, because I didn't grow up with it, and so I don't have like that nostalgia associated with the game. But I do love Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, like, because the base game is still like really good, but the game, while it was a really good back then, it just doesn't hold up in the same way now.
I'll disagree with you a little bit on Crash and Spyro. I feel like those still hold up fine, but I mean, it could be a little bit of nostalgia, but I still feel like some parts of the originals are a little better than the remakes, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
But just from someone who's played them to death, and I know Dave has played Crash to death, so, but like, that a little tiny bit disagreeing there, but yeah.
And to be honest, I probably will have some of those same thoughts for Rehydrated when it comes out, because, this is such a nitpicky thing, but in SpongeBob's idle animation, when he's like, his moving animation when he's walking through the level, it's a little bit different in Rehydrated compared to the original, and I prefer the original one. So I have a feeling I'm gonna pick up on really small details like that and be like, yeah, the original was better in that sense. So yeah, I totally get that. But yeah, I think those are most of the main points I wanted to go through. Any final thoughts about Rehydrated, fellas?
I don't think so. I'm excited for it. I'm ready to play it.
Yes, Sam. I can't wait. Please give us a release date soon. I beg you.
I'm like, I'm really looking forward to seeing like what comes of this game in the future. It looks like it might be coming sooner than I was thinking, but I guess we'll just have to wait for that, because yeah, they still haven't given a release date technically. So I wonder if they're trying to negotiate that or whatever else might be going on. But yeah, we talked about a lot of things, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, like about anything that we touched on. Like, did you all feel like the graphics look good too, or are you on the side that like they should be duller? Like, give me your thoughts on like the music and the voice acting. And y'all have any other questions about the press build and demo, then let me know, and then I'll try my best to answer everything. But I thank Garrulous64 and DaveAce for coming on and sharing their thoughts in the game, because I really wanted to do this because they got to see and play the game as well, and so I just thought this would be a really cool opportunity to reminisce about the amazing things of this game.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future. Follow me on Twitter or Twitch, or join my Discord server if you like videos. Wait, oh, I'm messing up. Or join my Discord server. Special shout out to Reese Gaming, Team Rattle Sign Gamer, Glitched Alphin, Andrew Coughlin, Desiree Webb. These are my patrons/YouTube members. Let's become a patron and YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks. Then please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, and we are riding out.
Wait.
Hell yeah.